This is by far the saltiest I've ever been with a video game in a long, long time. But I don't blame the game completely. Let's talk about it. So I'm recording this literally about 10 minutes after I just rage quit out of a stream. This is one of the first times in a long time I ended a stream without playing Happy Trails or raiding someone because I was that salty. Like the salt was real, to say the least. We just finished. This is basically the last stream I'm doing of Hollow Knight, and I don't blame Hollow Knight. There's a couple of problems with me diving into Hollow Knight. The first is that Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania. I have so far, from memory, only beaten one Metroidvania game that I can recall. And that would be, Ori and the Blind Forest. That's it. There might have been a few NES games that might have technically been Metroidvanias that I may or may not have beaten when I was a kid, but as far as recent history, that's it. That is seriously it. The other problem is that the way I structure my streams just helped build pressure to a point where I would just get tilted sooner and faster, and then it would just get me to that super salty point that much sooner. And that is just the desire to make sure something happens on the stream. Something. Anything. Because the problem is that I only stream about 3 hours every stream. That's it. And then on top of that, I stream something different every day. So you stream for 3 hours, and then the first 10, 15 minutes of the stream, you're trying to remember where you left off. And that just didn't hold well for Hollow Knight, which is a very difficult Metroidvania in which the pathing is about as, at least to me, as non-obvious as it can be. And that much was pretty much confirmed going from stage 1, or I should say stage 2 to stage 3. You need to go down a non-obvious path, a hole in the ground, near the beginning, towards an area that all you found was a dark temple you couldn't see in anyway unless you paid 6,000 geo to, or however much it actually was, to get a lantern to see into that area. So it's just like, oh, that's an extra area. All right, ignore it. Well, how much good does that do you when you're under the pressure of making sure that something happens every stream? And then somehow, I don't know how, but somehow I did successfully soft lock the game. Somewhere along the line, I'm still not sure how. I'm confident I'm now going to have to just watch a complete walkthrough and spoil myself on the entire game to figure out where I f***ed up. But I somehow sequence broke, because everything we read about that area says you're supposed to have double jump. You need double jump to beat the boss. You clearly need a double jump to even exit the area. And I don't have it. So we hit a brick wall. And there's pretty much nothing I can do about it except for either A, jump in a dark room until I accidentally find the solution while being shot at, which is not happening, or restart the game. And look, I love you guys. I know you guys put in so much effort to vote that game in. That game was even gifted to me by a longtime viewer. And I just can't do this to myself. I just can't. It's painful. I'm not even kidding. I have been dreading every Thursday stream for the past month, because it means firing up Hollow Knight and praying that something makes sense, despite the fact that every single stream, nothing about where you're supposed to go makes any sense. And from a streaming point of view, where you have only a small window every week to try and make some kind of entertaining content for a show, you just 3 hours of staring at a screen and wondering which way do they go is just not to me. It's just not the content I want to give people. It just isn't. So, from a streaming point of view, at least for my stream, I just don't see Hollow Knight being completed in a blind first playthrough kind of setting. It just does not seem feasible. I mean, we had to look up a walkthrough to even find out, oh, hey, you know that death trap area over on the side where there's clearly a Caterpie up on top if you complete what looks like an obstacle course? Yeah, you need to go there to find a key item. And by the way, because you somehow managed to skip another key item, you're still f***ed. That was the last straw. Somehow getting there and just being completely sequence broke. It was just like, that's it. That's it. The only fault I give the game is that sometimes the jump button works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it's this controller, despite the fact that this is the same controller I use for many other games and it works fine. So I don't know if this Steam port is wonky or if there's something on my computer that's making controllers behave unhappily with it. I don't know. But I know this controller works with any other game I play it with. I use this with Yakuza, and except for the part where my brain still can't understand that X and Y are swapped and A and B are swapped on an Xbox controller, and that throws me off with every rhythm game and QuickTime event ever because I can't retrain my brain. I don't have a problem with any other game. So I do feel bad for the person who did gift it to me because they were expecting me to play it. They were hoping I would. I mean, that's the problem when anyone gifts you a game. You know they want to see you play it. And they hope that you enjoy it as much as they did. Unless that game is Empirical Fantasia. In which case, it's basically the same equivalent of just sending you a turd. Other than that, I mean, they want you almost expect a viewer that sends you a game to say, can you play this? And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And just in this case, it has brought me nothing but a month of complete and utter misery. Except for 1 week where I thought I cracked the code and we knew where to go, and it turned out, no, JK, you just soft locked yourself without ever having a single clue. So I'll post on Twitter what's going to be taking its place, and we'll be going from there. Take care, and I hope You have a great day. Bye-bye.
Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space.